the January 17th, 1995 Kobe earthquake just now, and about 6,000 people or so.
Okay, John, I'm going to come right back to you, but right now we're hearing once again from the Japanese Prime Minister. Let's listen in.
In the Tohoku region, mainly and over a wide area, damage has been. I offer my deepest sympathy to the people who have suffered the disaster. Regarding our nuclear power facilities, some of the nuclear power plants have stopped automatically, but so far, no radioactive material or radiation has been confirmed to have been leaked to the outside. There has been no information of those lines so far. And given this situation, an emergency disaster response headquarters has been set up with myself as the head. We will secure the safety of the people of Japan, and in order to minimize the damage, the government will make every effort possible. And we ask the people of Japan to continue to be cautious and vigilant and keep tuned in to the reports on the television and radio. And we ask the people of Japan to act calmly.
The Japanese Prime Minister Nato Kan, he was addressing the people after this massive 8.9 magnitude earthquake has hit about 80 miles off the northeast coast of Japan. We're seeing a lot of new pictures as they're coming in of the massive wall of water as it came in, washing away homes and cars. Right now, there is one person confirmed killed, several others injured. We can only imagine by looking at these pictures that those numbers are going to go up. Still on the phone with us is John Rundle. He is a seismologist with UC Berkeley. And you know, John, one thing that we have talked about just a little bit tonight, I believe it was our correspondent David Piper that mentioned this, mentioned those nuclear facilities. We just heard the Japanese Prime Minister talking about those and how they're really watching them closely to make sure that they were not compromised. Is that something that, I mean, it just seems like with everything else that's going on, it's just one more thing these people have to worry about.
Well, you know, usually the nuclear power plants are hardened against ground shaking. It's not so clear you can harden it against a tsunami like this. I really don't know if any of those plants are near the coast, but if they are, and they were hit by a wall of water like this, you know, it could just erode the ground out from under the thing, and that would be a major cause for concern, I would think. You know, one would hope that they would consider that, but I'm not an expert on nuclear power plant construction, so I don't know. But speaking of nuclear explosions and things like that, you know, an earthquake of this magnitude is roughly equivalent to about 300 megaton nuclear explosion. So that's an amazing amount of energy to be released.
And once again, as we were just talking, and I'd like to show them again if we can, the tsunami actually coming in, the massive wall of water and then just subsequent waves one after another. And you can only imagine what people that were just sitting there in their homes or possibly driving along the road in their cars must have been thinking as this wall of water just comes from out of nowhere, and the next thing they know, they're washed away. You know, we talked about the fact that there's probably going to be, you know, thousands that were killed in this. Right now we've got one confirmed. There's really nothing that can be done to prepare for something like this. I mean, you can tell people there's a tsunami coming your way, but what do you do?
That's a good question. I mean, there's not much you can do. You know, you look at this picture that's on the screen right there, and you know, I don't know what you would do if you were in that situation. Frankly, there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah. You know, again, I want to talk some more about these pictures that we're seeing right now, because you said that this is unlike anything that you've ever seen. Can you talk a little bit more about that for people that may be just joining us?
Well, the only place I've ever seen tsunamis of this, earthquakes of this magnitude are in simulations that some of my colleagues do. Professor Takahashi Furamura of the Earthquake Research Institute in Japan does these simulations along with Kenji Satake. He's also a professor of seismology at ERI Japan. And we've seen a lot of those kind of simulations that they've done. Kenji actually, his simulation was pretty famous after the Sumatra earthquake. But to actually see something like this really happen in real time is really a first, to be honest with you. And I just don't know of anything like this at all. I was saying earlier that, you know,
well, you were talking earlier about that Sumatra earthquake and what we learned from that. You know, the fact that you kind of have an idea of what's going to happen in the aftermath, and you know what the priorities might be for these first responders. I mean, we've already seen a lot of people. It appears that they're on top of buildings and top levels of homes, and right here we're now showing a ship that appears to have been just completely washed into these buildings here behind it. Unbelievable. And that again is a testament to just how powerful these things are, right, John?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in fact, as I was saying earlier, I think an hour or so ago, this is either the fourth or fifth most powerful earthquake in recorded seismological history, which goes back 60 or 70 years. And, you know, so you're just not going to see many events like this. You're not going to see tsunamis like this, except maybe once every couple of decades or so. So, you know, we didn't have the kind of technology when some of these things have occurred previously. And, even in Sumatra, which wasn't that long ago, you know, people weren't prepared, I think, for, as Japan is, for technologically to display this kind of thing. So this is really a first, to be honest with you.
All right, John Rundle, seismologist at UC Berkeley, thank you so much, and we are going to come back to you again. You've been great through all of this. I've been talking to you for the last couple of hours. But right now, let's go ahead and go to Fox News meteorologist Rick Reichmuth. We want to hear a little bit more about the tsunami warning, particularly the one that's in effect for Hawaii that they're looking at to start possibly around 3 a.m. Rick, has that changed or is that still in effect?
No, it's still in effect.